What's up, everyone? So we are going live just a little bit early so I can get everyone to join. But I will start giving you guys some information what we're doing tonight. So I am showing you a photo of the thing that we're going to be doing. It's not going to be exactly the same. We are going to change it a little bit, but use kind of the same colors. But I wanted to let you guys know I gave these cards for Father's Day. So I made this one for Sean's dad and this one for my dad. We're going to be making this one here, which is with the Tim Holtz Crazy Dog stamp set. And hopefully we get through this. It actually was interesting how I came across this. I was going to do, like I normally do, a Make It Monday, but I made both these cards this weekend, and they took a little bit of time, and I ran out of time to do my Make It Monday. So I was going to do something else, but I got a lot of feedback on this card asking if I can show people how I color. So hopefully we can make this entire card. If we can't, at least we'll get through some parts of it. So hopefully you guys can see how to make the card and how I color. So it's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to be using this hat and the tie. We're just going to be using a birthday hat because this is masking. So to answer a few questions, this is all one layer. So this is on the same layer as the background. I didn't cut the dog out and then put him on it. I could have, I guess. So we're going to show you that and answer any questions. This is live. Sean's recording. So if you have questions while I'm doing stuff, feel free to ask. Sean will hopefully ask a question so people that are hearing the replay can hear it. All of the items that I'm using in today's project are down below in the links. So once again, I'm not sure if I'll be able to finish this. It's a lot of stuff going on in this card, but we'll see how far we can get. Ask any questions. Other than that...
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody kept saying hi, hi, hi.
I know.
From here, and there, and everywhere.
So I'm just a little bit stressed doing this card live. I'm just letting everyone know that. So, yeah, I'll show you how to do this. The reason why everything's all in one layer is I used actually masking paper, and I actually used Christopher Allen's Brutus Monroe masking paper, which I'll tell you a story why I'm doing it. Kind of saved this card because I thought I had lost it, had a panic attack, but it was all good. So we'll get started. First, kind of show everyone my coloring technique and stuff. It's definitely, everyone has their own coloring technique, and I'm happy to share mine with you. So I'll start off by saying we are using these stamp sets. So if you guys have not seen these, the links are down below. These are Stamper Anonymous Tim Holtz Crazy Dog. So he has the crazy dog, he has the crazy birds, he has the crazy cats, and we'll be using this set. This is the accessory, which are you asking a question?
U.S. Virgin Islands. That's a first.
So I'm using this set. I'm addicted to you. You really can add all of these different elements to make any of these crazy guys any occasion. And then I actually like the sentiments. Sentiments are very generic, but they're perfect for the actual stamp sets. So we'll be using all of these. Once again, if you have a question, please let Sean know, and he'll hopefully interrupt and let me know you have a question. Also, I do my coloring on. A lot of people ask what I use. So that what I will be using is, I feel like the Bristol Smooth Paper does half the work for you. I swear by this stuff. It blends perfectly. I've used watercolor paper. I've used tons of different paper, but something about the Bristol Smooth. This was actually a trick Lori Noonmaker gave me about 1.5 years ago, and I've used it since. And for this specific card, I will be using the Zig. They're actually, I think it's called I can't pronounce it. Kuretake?
Where is it?
Right there.
Kuretake.
Yeah, so I use these to do my coloring. These are awesome. They're a watercolor. They blend beautifully. They're an actual brush, so that's a brush there. So you can do all sorts of stuff with these colors. And I recommend choosing your colors before you start your project, so you know what you're working with. But I got the 80 set. I started with the 60 set, which honestly has most of the colors you're going to need. The one thing I was a little bit disappointed in is the 60 pack doesn't have a lot of the lighter colors, which at first you don't think are very essential until you start coloring, and then you realize these colors are so bright and so vibrant. Sometimes you need these lighter colors to tone them down, but you can work with water. You can do all sorts of stuff with these markers. So we're going to put that over there, and we'll get started with the card. Once again, if you guys have questions, let me know. We're going to start with the 4x6 or no, this is actually, I lied to you, 5.5 by 4.25. So basically an A2 size card. And we're going to stamp our image. Now, I am doing a birthday hat on the dog. So the original one, I had the tie and the top hat. So we are going to have to do masking. Hence why I am doing, I already stamped these images on Brutus Monroe. You'll see on the back here, Brutus Monroe masking paper. And this allows you to mask stamps and do what you need. So what I want to do is I actually want to, we're going to be wanting the hat on top of here. So I like to do it a little different than other people, which is, I know, shocker. But I'm going to actually, I don't need him, no I do. So I'm going to put this guy down first, because I can line up my stamp then, and I can line up this guy as well. So these are just basically giving me a place so I can position my stamps perfectly. So I want his hat to be right about there. And now that I have this, I can stamp the dog on top, because with the dog, we can line this guy up. And I'm just eyeballing it. Normally I would take a little bit more time on my masking, but you guys just get the eyeballing can one. And so we're going to position this. You can also mask, you could put this on, here, I'll show you that actually. So, and then we want to remove the dog. We want to keep the birthday hat and remove the dog, because we basically want the birthday hat to be behind the dog, or we want the birthday hat to be on top of the dog's head, not on the bottom there. So we are going to stamp the dog. So when we stamp, it's actually going to stamp on the hat, and we're not going to see that. We're going to mask that. I'm just using Fun Stamper's Journey Black Licorice ink, and I swear by this Misty. This makes masking so much easier in my opinion, because you have a perfect placement of where you need everything. So we have our dog. Sean, do you think, let's do another stamp. Show them what the Misty can do. So if you didn't get a good transfer on your stamp, you can re-stamp. That's the great thing about this. I've always liked the Misty. I know a lot of people are waiting for new products to come out, and I'm sure I'll try those out, but for me the Misty's been great. So we have a nice dark stamp there. So we're done with this, but when I remove this now, I don't want to remove it too much because I'm still going to line up my stamp. You'll notice it's, so now my hat can go. And if you don't get a clean transfer, you can always use a really fine point black pen, because I'm sure I might not get the best transfer here. We'll see. Since I'm not masking. I'm masking a little bit differently than I normally mask, just because I can't stick my head in front of the camera. Sean told me I can't do that. I was like, can I stick my head in front of the camera to mask? And he just said, no. I was like, you're rude. You're mean, Sean.
No.
Well, but we're going to be using those masks again in something very, very important here in a few minutes. So we're going to pray that my mask is good, because, like I said, it's doing this a little different, Sean. Out of my comfort bubble, masking this way. Oh, look at that. So what's nice about the Misty is you can obviously, if you don't get a good transfer, because I was afraid my mask wasn't going to be good, I can keep. And we're going to keep these masks. Normally you could toss them if you were going to do something else. We're going to be keeping these masks because we're going to be coloring our background around our image. So we're going to keep these guys. And essentially, I would say this has about the same tack as a 3M Post-it note. And I know some people actually use 3M Post-it notes. I just like this masking paper from Brutus Monroe because it's a full mask and it goes way down for the entire thing. So we are now going to start. Do you guys want to see the background done first, or do you want to see the coloring done first? We can do either way. What do you want to do? Coloring first or background?
Nobody said yet.
Sean, what do you want to do?
What's easier?
Coloring. Let's do coloring first.
Coloring. Yep. First person said coloring.
Okay. All right. So coloring. I will tell everyone, when I first started coloring, I was intimidated. I hated coloring. It never turned out good. And I struggled with alcohol markers. Then I got the Zig Real Brush markers. And still, even then, it's a lot of practicing. But the biggest thing I will tell people on coloring is don't compare your coloring to anyone else's. Because I'm telling you right now, if you do, it's going to drive you insane. You want to...
Everybody's different.
Everyone's different, and you're going to get your own unique style. So the way I show you isn't necessarily the say-all. It's just how I do it. The nice thing about these stamps, I will tell you what I love about these stamps and other stamps coming out on the market, is your shading, it kind of gives you a cheat guide of where shading would go. So anywhere you see kind of this kind of rough look, it's kind of telling you that's where the shading would be. What I do to pick my colors out is I always grab another piece and I'll test my colors to make sure they can blend. So for the dog, I'm using pale gray as the light color, gray brown as my medium, and gray as my dark. I believe that's how it is. See, now I already have to try it. Dark. So I usually always work with, 3 colors, but you could work with as many colors as you want. And I always start with my light color. I used to start with my dark and go down to my light. And then when I went to CHA, I met a wonderful person from, where was she from, Sean? Was she from... I think Spectrum Noir.
Yeah.
And she's the one that told me to color a little differently, and it kind of changed my life. And she said, always start with your light color, then go to your dark, then your medium. And that's how I've been practicing, and I've been pretty impressed with it ever since. So I'm not worrying about too much about this first layer of color, because we are just putting down that color, and we're going to be manipulating this color later. That's what's great about these markers, is you can put down your color and then worry about it, the blending part, a little bit later. And I tend to turn my card around. I love this mat. This is the Ken Oliver craft mat. It's awesome craft mat. But the one thing I don't like is everything sticks to it. So even your paper tends, when you're coloring, it's not an easy movement to move your paper around. So anyways. All right, and I guess we can do the body at the same time as this. So coloring has turned into something very therapeutic for me. I don't know if anyone else is watching. I don't get to see your comments, unfortunately, till after. But coloring is one of those things I hated in the beginning. I was more of a paper crafter where I was layering my cuts through the Cricut or Silhouette or Brother. And I never colored because, well, if you're not good at coloring in the beginning, you look at it and think a 2-year-old did it and you throw it away. But then I realized that we're going to get better. Just don't watch any really good colors on YouTube, like Jennifer McGuire or Kay Warner Designs. Man, they're amazing colorers. And it depressed me. I'm like, I'm never going to be as good as them. Which, who knows? So, I have my first color down. So then we are going to go straight to the darker color, which in this case is gray. My middle one's the gray brown. And I am going to, wherever I saw those lines, I'm essentially going to put a little bit of a dark, just a little line of that darker color. Once again, I'm not looking for perfection because we're going to manipulate this color here in a little bit. But I'm just going to put down a color anywhere I see where I want that shading. So, and if you get it in the wrong spots, you're not going to worry too much about it. But I actually will put it kind of anywhere there's even like these dots, his mouth line there. And I'm going to do this all the way around. And keep in mind, it's live, so I am doing this a little fast. Normally, I'd make way more effort of doing a prettier job of getting into all the different, but we'll see how it turns out even going fast. So once I have my dark color laid out, I'm then going to go to my medium color, which in this case is gray-brown. And I'm going to put that right along that darker color. And I'm going to start just mixing it a little bit, but not a ton. So I'm just going to put this right butted up next to this next one. And once again, don't worry too much about perfection at this point because that's where the lighter color will come in. And what's great about these is these are a water base, so you can kind of in a way reactivate them very, very easily. And they come out nice and fluid, and I just really like these things. All right, we're gonna go back to our original color, which is the pale gray. And here's where I will show you the biggest technique is. You're going to want a piece of paper here. And the reason why is because these are a brush, they're going to pick up the darker color, just like that. And it's going to make your ink color dark. And you see how it kind of goes light there. So you don't want this dark color consistently throughout the entire thing. So you want to be able to clean your brush just using a piece of paper. And really all I'm going to do is pick up the color by doing mini circular motions here, and then go from my dark side all the way up to my light side. And then once I'm done, I'm going to clean off the tip of that and go on to the next side. So this one's pretty much all shading. We're not doing too much here. But once again, I'm done. I'm going to clean it off. Let's go to this next. So this is a pretty big open space. I'm going to start all the way to the edge right here. And once again, I'm just kind of going in circle motions. I'm going to pick up all of this color, get it nice and blended, and then kind of go out with it. So I'm just picking up that color as I go out with it and going in small. For me, it's the circle motion, but you could probably do any motion that feels comfortable to you. And then I'm going to keep picking up that color as I progressively go out. And you can blend. You can go back, and if you didn't like your blend, you could go back and pick up more color. So some people will say it's a lot consistent to what the way chameleon markers are, where they kind of, you're going all the way out and stuff. So I'm going to pick up this color, going in that circular motion, and I'm just going to go all the way through. If you miss any of your shading spots, so I missed some right there, I'm going to go back and get that later here, and I'll show you when I do that. And I'm constantly moving my paper around. I don't tend to color in one direction. I'll move that paper around as I need it to work with what I'm working with. And then you just want to kind of blend it together with meeting up within the center there. So once again, I'm just picking up the color, slowly moving out until you get to super light again. But I'm going to let you guys know, I've tried this technique also on just regular heavy white cardstock. There's something about this Bristol paper, as it dries, it almost keeps blending. I don't know, it's magic. I think it's magic. I swear by it. If I don't have it, I freak out. It's one of my must-have craft items. Oh, I completely missed down here. Let's redo that. So there's my dark, right? Yeah, okay. So as you can see, I missed all of this shading. So I'm going to start by putting some...
Don, they're called a zag?
Zigs. I want to say it's Kuretake Zig Real Brush Markers.
Hand me one and I'll do a close-up real quick.
Okay.
Any color.
Oh, give me that back. I need that, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm. So this is the company that makes it, right? The Kuretake.
I believe, I don't know who's all on, but Melody's used them. If Lori's on, she's used them. Like I said, I'm not sure all who's on, but if you've used them, definitely say if you like them or not. To me, there wasn't much of a learning curve. It was pretty easy to learn the blend on these and stuff, as long as you, practice. But for me, these work great on this Bristol paper. So maybe that's why, for me, they weren't that hard to learn, because it works so well.
Melody says the same thing. She loves them.
Yeah, so I bought them
loves them.
I bought them based on Lori's recommendation, and then I think Melody bought them after that, and then she did a beautiful mermaid.
Angela loves them.
A beautiful mermaid drawing with hers.
Loves them.
So we have the head done, but we're gonna keep going down now, all the way down, and then I'm gonna show you the final piece on the dog, and then we'll go on to the next items. The biggest thing is picking up your dark colors over here.
These are water-based, not alcohol.
These are water-based. So you want to use it on definitely watercolor paper or a thicker piece. So this Bristol paper is pretty thick and blends. I will say, if I use these, because I do a lot of blending with them and I do the circular motion, if I was to use these on a regular piece of paper, you're going to start seeing I call it pilling, where your paper will start coming up and making little balls, which is never fun, because then it ruins your entire mood. You're just bummed out from that point on. So we're just going to keep going around. And there we go. Pick up any color. So if it's not darker, just go back and pick up some of your darker colors. And then always clean your brush off. That's a huge piece of it, is making sure your brush is clean before you go into the next section. because you don't want too much dark colors. And if you don't clean up your brush, it's just going to keep building up those dark colors, and that will make you sad.
Tanitha says Strathmore's mixed media paper works really well.
Oh, you know, I saw that the last time I was at, I don't even remember where I was at, and I saw that and I was thinking, I wonder if that would work good, because I've used other mixed medias and they didn't work good for me. So this has been my paper choice, but I'm sure you're right. There's probably other ones like that that I should try. It's just kind of one of those things. Once you find something that works really good for you, you tend not to
change.
Yeah, I don't change, and I should, because then I'm like one of those people that's like, oh, I would never try that new stuff. All right, so there's our initial. Now you could go back with the lighter one, darker ones, and add more, you know, shading and stuff like that. For time's sake, I'm not going to do that, but I am going to grab usually the darkest color. So in this case, it's going to be black. And what this will do is it's going to add some of those last dark areas. So you're not going to use a lot of this. You're just going to use it along the base of where basically you originally put that dark gray. So I'm just going to put just a little bit, and I'm not going to blend it in. This is just essentially, I hate to say like eyeliner, but in a way it's kind of that, where it's just that you're just giving it a little bit of foundation.
Well, you're giving it, the black now becomes the top coat, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but you don't want to go back and blend it in. You don't want to go back and, in my case, like I don't want to go back and blend this in with the other colors. I just want this to be kind of the last layer, because it's black. So if I was to go back and blend this in, you're looking at it's gonna ruin your coloring. So I just do this just in certain spots, kind of where that cross stitching originally was.
Yeah, it gives it good definition.
Yeah, and it just makes it pop, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna go around, but you want to do this last. You don't, if you're still going to go back and use coloring and shading, especially if I was to pick it up in this area. So like right here in my mind, I want to shade this out a little bit. I want to make sure not to pick up that black, because if I pick up that black, a little bit of black goes a long way. So I don't want to, you want to make sure that this is one of the last things you do. So it's still going to blend, but yeah, it just gives it that extra definition. We're going to do the same thing, working through his other things here. So let's start with, Sean, you want to start with the party hat or his leash? What do you want? What do you want, Sean?
Party hat.
You want to do the party hat? So the party hat, I'm going to do blue and yellow. I'm going to start with the blue here, and I'm using, this is my, what Sean called top coat, but it's the last one. And then once again, the best way to try to see if your colors are going to blend is grab a scratch sheet of paper, go with your dark color first, do a little ziggity zag line, then you want to go halfway up and do your next color down.
Will these markers work on vellum?
I think they would, yeah.
So you said, did you do the tail?
Oh, no. I did the tail in the original color, but I didn't do my my darker colors and bring them through. Whoever said that, good catch. That would have bugged me in the very end. So as you can see, the tail's a tight spot. I'm not going to be putting a lot of those foundation colors, but I am still going to try to mix it as much as I can to get some of that definition. I probably will not put any black in there though, so, because that would just not be good.
Yes,
all right.
Yes on vellum, better than Copic.
Yeah. So once again, party hat. Great thing about these stamps is it kind of gives you a cheat of where your shading will be. We're going to start with my dark teal. I call this teal. I don't know what it is. I call it teal, but
on there?
Persian green is what they call it. When you say this is teal?
Yeah.
So that's my foundation color. And this one I'd say I already messed up. I should have put my light color down first. Oh well, I'll show you the way I used to do it. So I used to do it this way. First way I showed you on the dog is the way I do it now, but old habits die hard. The way I used to do it was always start with my dark color, go down to my medium color, and then do light. The reason I stopped doing it this way was blending wise, my colors, in my opinion, didn't blend as well as doing it the other way. You had more control. So, because you're adding color onto the light color, where this way, you know, you're looking at the the blending, not backwards, but it's just easier in my opinion the other way. So I'm going to pick up my dark colors and bring them out to the front and pick them up. So before I go to this area, I want to clean off my brush a little bit while I blend this. So you always want to have that piece of paper blend it and clean off your brush. That's hugely important. If not, you're going to compromise your blending, because you're now going to have, if you're going spot to spot, you're now going to have darker colors in the middle of where you should have light. So I always have this little sheet of paper to clean off these brushes in between each color. Now that I'm just on this lighter color, I can go back and color in those light colors and blend it in. You can also, I haven't had to do it yet, but you can lighten the color also by using water. I don't use water too much because I feel like it dilutes the colors, and the reason I like these markers is they're so brilliant. So for the last piece I'm using, it's called Marine Green, but it's got a really good blued color to it. So I'm not going to use a ton of this, but I am going to put it down kind of in those last few spaces, which is where we started that. So let's add a little more through here. All right. So now we need to do those dots. I guess that's still a party hat. On that one, I'm going to be using, oh, sorry, Sean. On that one, I'm going to be using the bright yellow as my deep color, and then yellow as the medium, and then this fluorescent yellow as the light color. So I'm going to start with my light fluorescent. I'm going to color in, and I guess you don't really have to do a lot of shading, but once again, I think shading adds a ton on here. So I'm not going to worry too much about getting this perfectly colored, because I'm going to go back and now start with that darker one. We're going to put that anywhere we see the shading area. And then we have the medium yellow, which is right here. We're going to add that layer here, right butted up next to this. And then we're going to go back with this fluorescent and pick up all those colors. So we're going to go in that circular motion and blend them all the way out. Cleaning your brush in between each time you do that. And let's just do the two darker colors here for the top. You don't have to do too much shading in here, but just enough. Alright, so that's the top. Last thing we have, let's do the same thing down in this guy, is his collar and the little dots in his collar, and then we'll do our background. So the best advice I have on coloring is just practice, get your own style, have a spare sheet ready to get your coloring done on, so that way you can kind of check your color. So on the leash, we are going to use the deep red for our dark color. We are going to use, I think it's called geranium red for the secondary. And then it's carmine red for the light. Carmine. There's not a lot of shading on this one. The other thing I like about these markers is because they're so fine tip, you can get into these tighter spaces where I've tried to with my Copics and it's never successful. I'm still getting used to both the Copics and Spectrum Noir. I think I was spoiled by these. These are the first ones I used, so they were so easy for me. And now when I pick up alcohol markers, I struggle with alcohol markers. And everyone keeps telling me, oh, it's you'll get used to it. It just takes practice. But for me, the blending is where I get it really, really hard on alcohol.
Is your scrap paper the same as the working paper?
Yep, because I want to make sure that it's blending just right. So this one, like I said, it's not doing too much shading, so I'm not going to be putting a ton of this down. but just a little bit of this darker red. Sometimes when I do the shading, I don't even really see a lot of my darker colors. So could I be without them? Sure, but in my mind, I think they add to it. And then we have our medium color, which I'm not going to put, like I said, too much down, just enough to give it different color, different depths. Adding these different layers do really give it, extra, a little something extra, right, Sean?
Mm-hmm. Depth.
All right, and let's go ahead and just add, I was going to do these a different color, but we're just going to add. If you pick up any of your red, you just want to clean off your brush, because obviously we all know red and yellow. What does that do, Sean?
Orange.
Gotta be careful. Not that. I'm sure no one else would notice it, but I would super notice it. We have his nose. We'll just do a little black nose. Some people like to add to his eyes, like dog's eyes. They like to add a little bit of blue in there and color it out. I tend to not do that a lot, but that's up to you. Some people like it, others don't. I noticed I missed a little bit here, so I'm just adding that last bit of color and blending it out. All right, so we're gonna let that dry here a quick sec. Now, we're gonna go back and now do the background. The background we're gonna be using Distress Inks, and I'm gonna be using the Fire Brick, the Spiced Marmalade, Mustard Seed, and Seedless Preserves. Now, some people would say to wait to color this because I'm putting a mask tape over it, and it can remove some of your color. It did remove a little bit of my color, but it didn't ruin the card by any means. So I will always color this first before doing any of the, like I'm going to be putting a die frame on it and stuff like that. This looks like it's pretty dry. What do you think, Sean?
I don't know. It might be.
Let's check it. Yep, we're good. So we're going to start with the doggy body. And obviously this is essential, trying to match it up perfectly, because we're going to be putting a lot of ink down on this card, and we want to make sure your coloring is nice and protected. So the great stuff about the Brutus Monroe masking paper is it's light enough to where I can color over it and it's not going to bleed through, but I can easily remove it, which is a big thing for me when I'm doing, especially this background, because we're going to be putting a lot of ink down. Sometimes the paper will, sorry if I just got loud right there, I was right next to the speaker. What? Microphone, sorry. Sometimes the masking paper will, when you're removing it, rip, and it looks like it's still on there, but with a nice razor you can get it off. So I'm just going to make sure it's on there pretty good. And now we are going to blend the colors. Now on this one, I am going to put a paper under it. Once again, Ken Oliver's craft mat. I love it, but it doesn't give me a lot of movement. If I don't have that, it's stuck, and I don't tend to have the movement I want. So all of my Distress Inks, I've already bought an ink dauber for the bottom of it. That's where I store it. So you'll notice in here.
Andrew wants to know the name of that tape again.
What tape? It's Brutus Monroe. Here it is. Brutus Monroe masking paper. They're on Amazon, but I think it's out of stock, so you can go to their site at brutusmonroe.com. You can also use other forms of masking paper. I just haven't used it, so I can't endorse 100% that. So all of my inks on the below here have the foam under there, which is nice, so that way we don't have to worry about the colors too much. We're going to start with the red. We have an ink dauber. I'm just going to... Oh, that has a dog hair. We don't want dog hairs. Kind of hard when you have 4 golden retrievers. So once we pick it up, we're just gonna start on the edge here, and we're just gonna keep going until we have a nice amount of that red down, and we're gonna then start with the blending into orange. You can go like this, which I'm definitely going to do over the dog part here. But the rest of the time, I'm going to try to use that smearing so that way you get that nice color. But at first, I'm always going to go right over the dog with that nice. So that way you don't want to obviously drag it along and pick up your masking and then you accidentally get ink on it. It's fixable, but you want to try to avoid it if you can. So once I've dabbed made sure that masking tape's down pretty good, I am going to go back and put down a lot of color. The more color on these backgrounds, in my opinion, the better. And once we get enough red down, obviously we're using 4 colors, so, you know, in 4s you want to make sure you do. We're going to then grab our orange, pick up the ink on the back here. So there's where I store it. And then we're going to, about right in the center, start with the orange color. And any place that we know that that color is not going to go, we don't have to worry about keep stamping over that poor dog and getting more color. But about halfway of the card's right about there, so. And then the way I blend it back, I don't worry too much about getting a separate dauber, but I will put some ink on the top, and then I just blend it straight up, all the way to the end. I'm not pushing hard, it's a very light, but that way you get those nice blended colors. And then if I need to go back and add red, if I notice like here it's kind of light, I can go back and add red using this here, and then just blend that orange through. So I'll start here, put a lot of orange down, a lot actually, and then I just blend it straight through. And once again, you're not pushing hard. It's a nice even blend to get you that nice color there. And put a little more right here. And then once I'm done with that, I can put orange on and go on to the yellow. And this is how I do my gradients. I've seen other styles out there. Some other people do it a much different way, whatever works best for you. But this seems to be my best success. Any questions, Sean?
No, not yet.
Because it's just so quiet.
It is quiet.
Thinking they're probably bored.
I think everybody's just enthralled in what you're doing, so they have...
Well, I don't know if they're enthralled. They're probably bored.
You guys are all enthralled, aren't you?
Bored. All right, so once again, I'm just going to get all the way up to the orange and get a lot of color down, and then I can blend it, going straight back.
Devil dog.
Devil
Absolutely,
dog?
They said. Enthralled indeed. Looks amazing. Oh. Hello from Australia. We're
What's
amazed.
Devil dog?
Devil dog is the thing with the Marines.
Oh.
Hoorah.
Gotcha. So on this one, I will add... I will clean it a little bit by just dabbing it over here because I don't want the orange to go all the way down. And
Tamitha says she loves watching people color. It's very interesting, and I'm learning a lot. Watching closely.
The last will be our
see how close we can get here.
Purple color. I'm probably going to end up hitting that then.
That's right. I'll get out.
So this one, I'm going to start on the very edge. And this one, it depends on how deep of a purple. Some people want that deep color. You're just going to keep going it over, which it looks like you're putting down a lot of ink, which you are. But on the same token, these aren't expensive, number one. But number two, you want a lot of ink because you want that background. If you don't have a lot of ink, it won't give you that dramatic color. Another word to the wise that I learned the hard way on this one is if you're working and you're dehydrated and you start sweating, be very careful because you could do all of this work, look down at your card, and a big sweat ball is there. So on this one, I'm not going to pull my purple that way. I'm going to pull it the other way. So I'm going to go like this, And then I'm going to go back over it with the yellow, which will dirty up the yellow, I'll admit, but that's okay. So let's get a little more yellow on there. And we're going to just pull the yellow a little bit in there. And then we're going to get it really soaked up and we're going to blend it all the way down. Just like that. And you're going to keep going over it until you lighten the yellow, or the pink, excuse me, or purple, where you want it. Now at this point, I am going to take the sheet out from underneath of it. And this is where I'm going to use my Ken Oliver craft mat. Because you'll see I have fingerprints of where I was holding the card. And the nice thing on this craft mat is you don't have to hold the card anywhere. It will
hold itself.
Hold itself. So now I can add some deeper card color without that card moving, which is one of the reasons I love this craft mat.
The finished product that he did for my dad, it almost looked like dyed leather. It was so cool looking.
Dyed leather? What are you talking about?
It's like you took a piece of leather and dyed it these colors. Just the way, when you look at it, it almost looked like, it looked like a piece of leather that you dyed.
Yeah. You can always go back and add other color. Like you can see here, I have a little orange I want to add in, and then you can always blend your colors. But for time's sake, I'll just kind of keep it at that. Now, before we remove our mask, we do, I'm going to be adding another layer here. And always, I will say, I am going to, a little bit though, that. I will say the best idea is to go on to Pinterest to find the different color combinations. So there's some people on there that have done a great job of doing all the work for you and finding great color combinations of, oops, I just dropped that, Sean.
I know.
And for the final one, I am going to be using some Sparkle Silk. Here it is. You can show them that, Sean. Sparkle Silk is from Fun Stamper's Journey. There might be other ones on the market, I'm not sure. And this will add a really cool element to the card. And I just want to make sure we have room because this is messy. When you shake this up, you're going to see all the sparkle in there. And I'm just going to go above and kind of hit it over the card. And what's cool is when this hits your distressed ink, it will almost create, I don't know, what, a teardrop look?
Splatter.
A splatter? Is that what you would call it? A splatter?
Mm-hmm.
So you can go as heavy on this, as light as you want. But this also breaks up your colors. If you didn't get a good blend, I recommend doing more of this. So, normally I would say hit it now with a heat gun to make sure it's nice and dry. However, you don't want to do that because your masking tape has adhesive on it.
You know, glue right to
and it will glue right to yours. And the great stuff I will say about this specific masking tape is I was still able to get it off, but the first time I did it, the glue adhered right to my paper, and I about had a heart attack and thought, well, that was a waste of 2 hours.
And look how easy it cleans up.
What?
Your mat.
Oh, yeah. This mat, I have to say, is a home run. I think someone recommended it and said, you really should get the Ken Oliver craft mat. And I was like, holy moly, it's expensive. I'm not getting that.
Yeah, it's worth every penny, isn't it?
It's worth every penny. And I just had someone reach out to me and say, what about this Ken Oliver craft mat? Is it worth it? And I was like, it's expensive, but it's worth every penny. I can't stress that enough. Okay, so I would still say let it dry before doing this, but once again, we're doing time's sake, so we're gonna chance it. So now we can remove our mask. And here we go.
Price?
On what?
The mat. This one here.
This one's like $55. They have a smaller one. I'll go grab that after I'm done removing this mask. And it's smaller, and it's only like...
We're at 20.
Okay. Hopefully we can finish this project, you guys, but it sounds like our...
And this was at full power, too.
Alright, remove that mask. So there's a few spots where I kind of showed you here where they've got too much ink on here, and it should, if you don't dig at it too much, just kind of lightly go over it, it should. That's why I like this masking tape, is that was what happened the entire image last time, and like I said, I had a heart attack. Heart attack, Sean. I did. There's a couple spots there. You'll see some white, which I'm not a big fan. Oh, there's a little more. Here's another spot that the masking tape attached a little bit. So we're just gonna... Alright. There's some little spots here of white, and I am not a white fan, so I just add a little bit of black to cover in those spots. Not too much, but just a little. If it's a big spot, I wouldn't do this. So, but like here, this is so close to the stamp, we can fill it in.
Ken, I just want to let you know we love you in Arizona.
Oh. We're going to... No, we're not. We're going to Utah. Where are we going?
We're going to Utah next.
Yeah, Utah next.
We'll be going to Arizona again when CHA comes around again.
Is that where it is?
That's where it was last time.
I know the cities I go to, but sometimes I don't know my states.
Phoenix.
Arizona.
Yeah. My cousin lives there. He lives in Glendale.
Glendale?
Uh-huh.
All right. So... I'm going to leave that edge alone. So we're at a point now. We're going to keep going because Sean says I can.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
We are doing okay, according to Sean. So we're going to start on our sentiment. We're going to let this dry a little bit longer. So we are going to use the It's a Party sentiment. And that's going to go on to white cardstock.
Mary says, hope you get to go do the Louisiana one.
The what?
The Louisiana, New Orleans.
I'm going to Louisiana?
You're hoping to.
Oh! I was like, what are you talking about?
The New Orleans.
Who said this one?
Marianne said. She hopes that you can make it that one.
I know, right? I wish I could go to all of them.
Yes.
So I'm just going to put this in the middle somewhere. Hope it's straight. We're going to be doing a die cut on this, so I'm not too worried about making sure it's straight. What happened to my black ink, Sean? Did you take it from me? Oh, here it is. This one says, it's a party.
And you can cry if you want to.
It's a party and I cry if I want. Do you know there was a sequel to that song? My Boyfriend's Back, isn't that it?
Maybe.
Maybe. In my head it is.
Could be.
Alright, we're going to throw this off to the side and we're going to... You guys all know I'm obsessed with this next thing. Obsessed! We're going to be using Gina K's 2 dies. So this is the double stitch and the single stitch. And we're going to be using that to...
Yes, the songs are related.
See, I knew they were related. How dare you doubt me, Sean?
I didn't doubt you one bit. Never said a thing.
And we're going to be using our Cuttlebug. And I should tape that because it's going to move, knowing my luck. But I don't know where my washi... Oh, here it is. I need new plates.
Yes, you do. Or just put them in the oven.
I've never tried that.
Well, if you're going to...
My luck, I would set our house on fire.
No, you won't. Just low... Just
How do you know?
You won't. Low part.
You make it sound like you know these things, Sean.
I know these things.
You know these things.
Mm-hmm.
Send it through, Sean.
Sending. Who's that? Danielle's Craft. She says it works.
It does. See, I need to try it. This sounds bad, but I just sometimes...
Low and slow.
Low and slow.
Just like when you do...
that sounds like...
When you do beef brisket. Low and slow.
You're talking another language to me. Alright, so we did the sentiment on the double stitch. So now we're going to cut black on the single stitch. And then you'll see the magic of these dies.
Gary said he used his Gina K dies for the first time. He loves
I'm
them.
obsessed with these dies. Like, I love dies. Don't get me wrong. I'm a die kind of guy. But these are probably one of my favorite dies right now on the market. Why is that, Sean? Why is these my favorite dies?
Because they're what you do with them, like what you're doing about
So
here.
we're going to then turn that over. And we're going to put some adhesive down.
There it goes.
And you're going to cover up that single stitch. And look at that.
Boom. Done.
Boom. You have what, Sean? How big of a... Did we decide at 1/16?
About 1/16 of an inch.
1/16 of an inch offset. That's why I love them. And she has them in
All kinds of shapes. Squares,
well, she has square,
oval, circle,
rectangle, and circle. Yeah.
That's just the main geometric shapes.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to run this bad boy through the die, and I'm going to be using, on this guy, these are little Inkers Silly Stitch, which is this right here. It's not going to cut out, so know that this is just going to imprint your card.
Emboss, right?
It's not going to cut out the card. So you want to make sure you're either using a magnetic plate or have this positioned where you want it, because there's no going back. And it, like I just said, it will not cut out the edge. This is just providing that stitch. So we're going to run that through. Just like so. And this is why you want to make sure it's dry, because if not, your ink will show up here. You can see a little bit it showed up. Yep. So you want to make sure you clean that before you do anything else. If not, it will color that. So there we go. Ooh. Sean, where's your oohs and ahs? Ooh. Ah. All right. So we can build our card now. I always go to Michael's, and when they have their cards like 50% off their like card packs, and they're like designs like this that I know I won't use, I just use them for my regular cards, because I don't make my own cards like some people do.
Amethyst says it's a cool card. I think that's what she said. Looking very nice.
Okay, so we have that down, and now we can put our sentiment on, and I'm going to be using some black twine behind it to kind of make it pop. This is Fun Stamper's Journey black twine. I've used Baker's twine in the past, but this twine, I hate to say it, it's stiff. It's firm, and I use a lot of it.
What do you use to seal the ink on your card to prevent fingerprints?
What do you mean? Like at the end?
Yeah, do you put a seal?
I don't know. I'm supposed to, but I don't. What do you guys recommend? I don't seal my cards. Should I? I've never had people that I give cards to, I'm pretty sure, throw them away. So I'm not worried about fingerprints. I know people seal it because someone asked me that one time before, and they told me I should seal my cards, and I'm like, I should. I know, like, on my distress inks and stuff, I seal or not my distress ink, like what did we just use? We used the distress oxides.
Oxides.
I have a knot in here, Sean.
Oops.
All right, so all I do on my twine is wrap around.
Seal, Tim Holtz.
That's right, the Tim Holtz. But I've never sealed my cards before, so I don't seal mine. I should.
Tim Holtz sells a Rub-On sealer.
Yeah, so they're out there. I just have never.
Melody's never heard of sealing them.
Yeah, people seal them so that way they keep their color and don't get fingerprints. I know on certain inks too, like it will, even if at the end it will still rub off. All right, so I just use washi tape to adhere the. So I'll just kind of let it fall where it falls and put it in the middle here. Now, you don't have to use, obviously, this much twine. This is a lot of twine, actually. We don't need this much twine. I like twine, but holy moly guacamole. So let's get a little bit of twine out of there. That's way too much twine. What was I thinking, Sean?
Christina Warner seals hers with wax.
Ooh.
Hairspray. I've heard of hairspray.
Ooh, yeah. Christina Warner seals hers with wax. I'll have to check to see if she has that on her YouTube. I don't know if I've ever watched one where she seals a card.
I don't think anybody would throw away your cards.
Well,
I know my dad says he's going to display his.
Here's the deal. People don't know what goes into these cards.
No, they never do.
They, So I get why they think it's just like a... Hallmark. If you got a Hallmark card, do people keep those cards? Not all the time. Where'd my end go, Sean? Do you see it?
The other end.
There it is. Okay, so I just always put this right in the middle, washi it, tape it down. And this is where the fun is. You can move around your twine.
Diane's been saving her cards for 50 years.
Wow. That's awesome. 50 years? You must have some amazing cards. Like cards that you make for or people make for you or give you, or just cards in general, like cards you make and stuff.
Always keep handmade cards. I have a board of them that you put them on. That's what Tamatha said.
All right, so once I'm done, and I think I like it, I'll still move it a little bit more, so if it's covering like the dog here, and you can have fun with this. And then we're going to turn over our sentiment here.
Almost need to bring this one over.
Bring it over.
It's your end one.
Which one?
Take off your washi and just bring it over.
Which one am I bringing over, Sean?
This one.
Oh, so, the end?
Yeah, it's every time you turn it, it's that end one. It just needs to be pushed over.
Let's just move the entire thing. What do you think?
Sure. I still think it's sticking out. Unless you... There you go.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Okay. If you are happy, Sean, I am happy.
Nice.
So I'm going to be using these are the 3D foam squares from Thermal Web. And they're much thicker than a normal foam square, which I like. And the other purpose for foam squares on this is to hold down your other parts of your twine. So I want this to be a little bit where the twine is just off on that one end. I don't want it coming out the other end here. And we're just going to push that down. And there we go. That's our card, Sean.
Yeah.
We finished it with time.
Yeah, we did this in 56 minutes.
Ooh, yesterday it took me like 3 hours.
And the battery hasn't died yet.
Yes. What do you guys think? You like it? Do you hate it?
Awesome card. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thumbs up.
Does anybody want the card? I'll send it to you. First dibs, go.
Who wants it?
Tell me the name, Sean.
Me. Betty Ann.
So Betty Ann, if you text me your address, I'll send this to you.
Betty was first.
But I have other cards I'll give away too.
Yeah. Betty, can you pop up your name again so we get Betty Ann Young? Thanks, Betty.
Hey, you know what? We can give these away too.
Are
you ready, Sean?
All right.
Are you ready for the next one?
Who's going to get this card?
And go!
Me, Carolina Lanty.
Okay, you guys have to text me your addresses because I'm not going to remember all this. I might have another one.
You might.
I might. Just might. Okay, ready? We'll give away this one too.
Mary Lovell.
Oh, Mary, you're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Everybody's going to have the word me ready.
That's so funny.
That was the last one, sorry.
Well, I have more I'll give away next week during Make It Monday. So, actually, this was an idea that many people have given me. Hey, do you want to give away your second card? And I always forget by the end of the show. I'm always like, oh.
So, who here saw Kenny's Star Trek symbol?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I have that on my iPad.
Did you throw that up on your webpage though?
I think so. Here, I'll show. We'll pull it up on here because I have better photos.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Oh, do you want it on there?
I was gonna say if it's big.
My phone might be dead. That's not good. I broke my phone. Oh wait.
There it goes.
Let's see. Ooh, I was at 1%. No wonder why it was doing that, Sean.
Me in Arizona.
You want me to send that to this one?
Yeah, so you can...
Gotcha.
It's better. Your phone is alive now. Alive.
So, this card, with the masking tape, what I love about this, you could cut out this guy with... and adhere him. But I like having the ink come right up to it. Like some people say it makes it not look like you did this with ink. It almost looks like a paper and stuff. Mm-hmm. I love the sparkle silk. And one of the reasons I love the sparkle silk is if you mess up your card, like if you get a droplet of sweat or you get a little blemish or you get some colors that didn't mix, you could just use this.
See the sparkling from the way the light. There you go. Look at that. So cool.
I love that sparkle silk. Like, I'm going to go through this in no time. And it's brand new. Like, they just released that recently. And I need to buy, it in droves. Because it is that cool. So, Do you see I did different colors in my last one? Like different color order?
Mm-hmm.
You can do that. All right, so what am I doing, Sean? I've already forgotten.
Your Star Trek thing.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's going to show up here. It's taking its precious time. All so right. You'll have to show it on here for a sec. And then if it gets on there, I will show everyone.
So this is...
Those are distressed...
What size is that frame? So they understand how big it is.
11 by 14.
So it's an 11 by 14 frame. His dad's a big Star Trek fan. Mm-hmm. This is done in that distressed ink or distressed oxide. And
distressed oxide. Those are so much fun. I have to tell you guys, it is a ton of fun to use those things. So it was actually pretty easy too. I was surprised at how easy that was to do. Mm-hmm. And it just turned out really good. I will give you guys a heads up though on the oxide ink.
Somebody asked, did you pick a P-Touch winner yet? Or is that later?
That's later tonight.
Okay, later tonight.
Yeah. The oxide inks dry lighter. So when you have these oxide inks, and when you're doing it, it's very bright and brilliant, but they almost dry with, I don't want to say a chalk finish, but a little bit lighter, I guess, in a way. But yeah, it's great. Here's I think this is so you can get a bigger. There you go.
That doesn't do that. So a little bigger shot of it.
Yeah. I would show it to you live, but I already gave it to him.
Yeah. Yeah, chalky is kind of an interesting.
It is. It's not chalky finish. I mean, it's definitely dry. You can... Yeah, it dries a little bit...
Hazy.
Hazy, yeah. I guess hazy is a good word. But I love the effect. These are so easy to use, fun to play with. And you can see the difference in color. So this is the oxide ink. So this is his regular distress. The distressed ones are very vibrant. They're very bright. They have that finish where this is the same kind of idea.
Muted. There's another good word. Muted.
Yeah, it's muted. It mutes. But when you're doing it, when you're creating live, it's not muted. Yeah. It's very bright and it dries and mutes. Yeah. But you can definitely have a lot more fun with this and the colors and stuff. So...
All right.
So yeah, well, I hope you guys liked it. All of your links are down below.
Yep.
So if you use those links, it supports us, which we appreciate. Thank you. Yep. And I hope you guys like the card techniques and let's see, how to mute or how to, what did we all teach today? We taught them how to mask and we taught them how to do gradient and color.
Yes.
My hair's not did.
That's all right. It's all right.
So, I hope you guys learned something new and fun.
Yay. Great.
And we'll be back Wednesday for our weekly wrap-up, and we're going to show off our Caterpillar Pro and our glow board, wherever it is.
It's back there.
Back there, and show you all that stuff, and tell you my first impressions of those. And then make sure you guys, the ones that did get a card, reach out to me. Oh, they want Riley.
Yes.
Reach out to me, and so I can send the cards off to you. Where is she? Come here, baby girl.
I can come out there.
Whoa.
No.
Riley, come here. Come here, baby girl. Riley.
Here she comes. Hold on. So she's 4 weeks old. Coming up on... Or 4 months. Coming up 4 months. There's
Hi! Come here. Oh my goodness, you just woke up from a nap. Come here. She just woke up. Hi. Good morning.
Step back.
Oh, you're so big now.
20, what did we say, 27, 28 pounds?
She's just shy of 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you good girl. Yeah, she just woke up from a nap, you can tell.
She is so damn cute and big. Yes, she is.
Mm. There you go. Go walk with her. Yeah, she's gotten big. She's a good girl. Come here, Rouse. Come here. Can you sit? Can you sit? No, you gotta sit. You can't jump up like that. Sit. Stay. Dear. She's a good girl.
Yeah, she is.
Cool. So there's your Riley. I know.
Can't wait for something. Oh well.
Can't wait for what?
I don't know. Somebody said something.
Do you know you're just showing a cupboard?
I'm trying to flip. There it goes.
Just a cupboard. That's what he's showing you. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining. I hope you like the cards and get to use them and stuff. Sorry it's a little bit longer, but there was a lot of techniques I wanted to show you and stuff, and figured why not.
When will this be reposted? Within minutes.
Yeah, as soon as we hit done, it takes about 10 minutes to post onto YouTube, and then it will be posted. Yep. Feel free to share it, use it, all that good stuff. So thanks, everyone. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye.